Just doing this update.
Morning, everybody. It's 21st of October. We are Signal Centre Talking Ball. I'm Joe Neighbour, joined by Ian Coleman and Steve O'Hare. Morning, guys.
Good
Morning, all.
morning.
How are we?
All good in the hood.
Ian,
Miserable.
a little bit worried about these COVID restrictions.
We're going into tier 3 this morning, supposedly.
Yeah,
But
go on.
just arguing the toss off air, weren't we, about what difference it makes? It doesn't really look like it makes a great deal of difference.
It doesn't really, no.
But
I won't worry about it. You can still go to the pub. You can still.
Well, I'm not boozing at the moment, so that's a difference anyway.
All right. That's so
saving me a fortune.
Sheffield's going down the pan now, though, because you're not outspending.
Yeah, it's been noted.
Pretty miserable here as well, weather-wise. I don't know about you guys.
We're overcast but dry.
We're wet, horrible, grey, miserable. Anyway, what's going on in the market? Oh, they're miserable as well.
Yeah. What's with the sell-off this morning then? Is that just Sheffield going into tier 3? Do you think?
Possibly the catalyst.
FTSE's collapsing on the back of that.
There was optimistic tones overnight from the likes of Nancy Pelosi, pointing towards a potential stimulus package before the election. Trump seemingly willing to cede some ground in a bid to get something across the line, so that was helping things yesterday. But there was quite a bit of selling prior to that. Further restrictions across most of Europe. Ireland are going into a 6-week lockdown, as we mentioned. Austria and Italy also imposing tighter restrictions. There was an update from the CEO of Swiss pharma giant Roche Holdings, who are in the race to find this vaccine for COVID-19. And they said it's completely unrealistic to expect a COVID-19 vaccine to be widely available by the end of this year, and most probably people won't have access to a shot until the second half of 2021. So that's put the brakes on that.
We'll have all had it by then, won't we?
Yeah, exactly. We'll all be immune, won't we? So
surely.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Can you be? Well, if you can get reinfected by it, which people are suggesting you can, then.
Tracy talked to our doctor yesterday, and he said it's all a nonsense. He said everyone's going to get it anyway.
Right.
So.
Just got to shield the old people, then, I guess.
Yeah, basically.
From the other side of the pond, on the company announcement front, there was a bit of a blow to the tech sector last night because Netflix announced that their new subscriber numbers were lower than expected. They came in at 2.2 million versus 3.5 million, which they expected. So a massive, massive miss on estimates there. So they tumbled quite a bit. We've got Tesla numbers due out later today. So maybe someone putting a pin into the Tesla recent increase, and we could see a bit of bump back to reality with that, maybe.
The Netflix,
like that.
Interesting, isn't it?
Well, there's a lot of websites out there that do compete with Netflix on quite a level playing field now. So, that's the thing. I think a lot of these valuations that we've seen in the past have always been determined, and they've sort of like thought that they were going to be the market leader, and they're not. There's like competition there, so
I've been watching Amazon Prime a bit lately.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Amazon Prime, Apple, Disney Plus. There's loads, and I guess one of the main
Pornhub. That's
what have you got the membership? You've actually chipped in and paid up, have you?
Yeah, accidentally, obviously.
No adverts. No adverts involved in your viewing.
Yeah.
I think one of the main issues for Netflix is that there's been no opportunity to make new programs because of obviously the COVID restrictions. So without any new content, are people going to keep signing up for these things?
Well, I mean, they just got to reinvent the way they do it, I suppose, because I watch a football match and it seems like it's the same because you've got this canned crowd noise. So it does feel like, that it's quite exciting, and all right, they're a bit delayed sometimes, but you just film things in different ways.
This is the Netflix daily chart. Just thought I'd bring that up. I mean, price action looks as though it's been pretty sideways for a number of weeks, really, going back to July. where it's failed to sort of make a new high above that. But this black line here I've drawn around about 494. That is where the all sessions is currently predicting that the open's going to be. So
Okay.
about a 6% decline from where it's currently trading at. But probably still within that range. And I would really only start worrying about Netflix if it were to break down below 467 maybe, which you've
Yeah.
got a
Triple
fairly
top.
decent triple top formation there, which
Love
would
it.
project lower prices, maybe somewhere around 358, 359, something like that.
Yeah, like
here.
it. That's me. Hang on. Let me just pop across and sell some Netflix. Oh, I can't. Let's do Nasdaq instead.
This is Tesla. So, I mean, we don't obviously talk about stocks very much on here normally, but because these have been so pivotal in driving the Nasdaq and US markets higher, they're probably worthwhile paying attention to. So, Tesla is due to publish results today. I'm not sure if it's before or after the market. I think they tend to be after. The all sessions is suggesting it's going to be 0.5% above where it's closed yesterday, but maybe a bit of a triangle pattern or a wedge formation at the top here, which, if it breaks down, could suggest lower prices maybe in the short term. Yeah, some fairly chunky gaps that need to be filled on the downside there. We'll wait and see. Anybody got anything else on the charts they want to take a look at? Anything they saw yesterday that's worthy of mention?
I mean, I'm sort of looking, now you're talking about Tesla and Facebook and all that, I'm looking at Nasdaq. If we go back to the sort of like the talking bull calls over the last couple of days, I don't like to sort of go on about it too much, but this is the daily chart, and this is a bit of a concern. They're almost sort of indecisive but quite negative looking candles. You've got this evening.
Out a little bit so we can see how they. That's it.
Sorry, you mean a bit like that?
Yeah, just so get a bit more.
So you've got this evening doji star formation, which is a negative formation, which we talked about, obviously, and we've had negativity for the last 5 days. Now, I've got this line drawn in here. It comes in at 11,585, so we're only just under 100 points away. Momentum, obviously, you can see, is turning negative. We've got a crossover on the MACD. We've got the cloud. There's not great support here. You can see how thin this cloud is here, so the support won't be great. But I believe where we had the swing highs previously and this resistance, that is basically will be support. If that support is broken, then it opens up a move further down towards the sort of 10,600 and 10,700 level. So I think there could be, this could be the play again. So Nasdaq, which I was, as I say, talking bull over the last couple of weeks, is again, go to the weekly chart. That's what the evening doji star formation also helped form. This shooting star candle on the weekly chart, very negative. So, and again, I think the 10,600 level will be another sort of level which, if it doesn't hold, really opens up the sort of downside. Sort of like, you know, you normally get a 61.8 or 50% of correction. That takes you down to 9,600, which is 9,750. Obviously, was a 17th of February high before we had the sell-off. So for me, this is looking very negative. I am bearish, and I'm sort of on a daily basis looking to sell rallies, really, from a personal perspective.
Okay.
Yeah, that's that. Obviously, gold is. I'll just quickly go into gold as I'm on.
I'm sure
gold has
Ian
had a
will talk
nice
about dollar index because that's been decimated over the last couple of days.
Well, it was a little bit yesterday that I was thinking about either obviously selling dollar index or buying gold, and I wasn't quite as confident with the gold because there is a few resistance levels just above. Really needs to break this 1935 level before we see further upside. But yeah, a nice positive moving goal. It's a bit of safe haven driven. But again, if we see these stock markets collapse aggressively, I think that will impact on gold. Won't go quite as quickly because it's not just a, negative stocks equals gold safe haven. It's a lot different to that, as we saw back in March.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, before I hand over to Ian, it looks like there's been quite a bit of commentary out from Barnier in the EU, and we're seeing pretty substantial move higher in sterling pairs at the moment. Ian, you need to show. Can you show your screen?
Oh, sorry, mate.
So EU Barnier, just in the commentaries coming out in the last 10 minutes or so, saying the EU wants a Brexit deal and it needs to trust. It's going to need trust based on the current deal. EU stance on a Brexit will not change, but he's also said a Brexit agreement is within reach and need progress in the coming days. So it looks like we could be getting somewhere on Brexit, and I'm sure Ian will touch upon a few of the sterling charts shortly. But Ian, we'll hand over to you and you can talk us through what's going on with dollar index.
Yeah, I wanted to show two things really. Again, sort of looking back at the big picture, we've got to remember that this should be a corrective sequence. And if we go to this chart here, we've had free up, and now we've broken this previous swing low. So we've basically effectively made free down, but this chart doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. We've got a confluence area here, 92.52 to 92.38. Which is sort of prime support for that next leg. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then probably up in 5. But what I did find quite interesting was that if you go to a shorter time frame, so basically that has, what I'm trying to say is, now that he's broken that swing low, as far as Elliott wave is concerned, it has completed, or it's got the potential to complete a 3-wave correction pattern. So it could potentially stop anywhere in reverse, as long as it doesn't break this low here. And if you go to this time frame, which is a short time frame, it's a 2-hour chart, are we completing a extended 5th wave? Got a 361.8% extension down here at 92.55. Now, the only reason I thought that was quite interesting is because if you go to this time frame, and this is, sorry, this basket, this is Joe's basket of unweighted dollar pairs. Shit. And this sort of highlights a move down to here, but I thought this was quite interesting this morning, but it's only if it holds, and there was a potential for a reverse head and shoulders pattern. So if you reflect all that back onto major currency pairs, and not trying to pick sort of tops and bottoms, and this doesn't look like it's stopping yet. We've got to remember the big picture. So the big picture in euro dollar, 261.8% extension level up here, was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're in a choppy corrective move to the downside, and we're basically looking for this BC leg, if you like, to complete. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, so opposite of the dollar. And if we go to, where was it? This chart. We've got a confluence area up here at 18. Well, we've got a 361.8% extension level at 118.96. And if we go to this chart, which is a 2-hour chart, we've got a potential of a confluence area here, which is pretty close, 118.82, 118.90. So basically 118.82 to 118.86, 118.90 is looking like a short-term target area or a possible reversal area for euro dollar. And dollar Swiss is normally -1 correlated with euro dollar. And I just want to talk about the big picture here, because if this stalls pretty soon, the risk reward factor on it is big. So if this is a base, then this is a monthly chart, then the target area is up here past the big figure at 100.50. If you go to this time frame, this would basically form the BC leg of a very large butterfly pattern with a target area between 100.50 20 and 10070. So again, targeting that 10050 on the monthly chart, this being the weekly chart. If we go down to this time frame, and it basically has to stall now, we've got a confluence area here at 90.32. So basically buying around here is what I'm trying to say, with a stop under here, because that would break the symmetrical pattern, and targeting 10050, which is all the way up here, makes a very decent long-term buy trade, swing trade to the upside. It's probably about 20 to 1 with regards to sort of risk reward.
That's a good thing about those setups, is that, you know, this is sort of last chance saloon for dollar there, isn't it? So
yeah, if it doesn't, if it doesn't work, you're out for, well, on this you'd be out for what, 40 ticks, 50 ticks,
massive,
and your upside's 1,000 ticks. Is that right? Yeah,
1,000 ticks.
So you got so you got 20 to 1.
Now I'm listening. Now I'm listening.
Yeah, so you got 20 to 1 risk reward on a medium-term trade to the upside. That's what I was trying to get across. Joe's thrown me in with regards to sterling.
Well,
I haven't really got.
You have some drawn stuff on the charts already, but just, if nothing else, just highlight the fact that there's been a pretty strong move in the last hour or so.
I haven't got anything in cable. That's the
top.
That's the move to the upside. Joe's now selling sterling dollar, and euro sterling. I can't really get anything on this either. I mean, what I was looking at focusing over the medium term was a move down to here. So I don't know if we're now starting that move down towards 89.60. But apart from that, apart from the Aussie pairs that I was talking about yesterday, I wouldn't put it this way. I'll be looking at trying to short these now, and that's euro dollar, and that's just making a nice not a reversal candle, but it's just hit this 127.2% extension. It's just starting to turn over. So what I'm trying to say is, just have a look at the euro basket actually, because I thought that was quite interesting. The long-term bias for the euro basket is to the upside, but we've just got this here, which was a confluence zone as well. So it's a 361.8% extension and a 127.2% extension. It's just starting to come off the top there. So I think we're getting towards, that's prime, but I think this could stall buying action in euro dollar today. And euro yen's looking very weak as well. If we go to this time frame, we've got confluence area here. We've hit that potential 5 waves to the upside and starting to move lower. So I think we could have a turnaround Wednesday.
Yeah, stocks are getting a bit of a whack now as well.
Sorry, and just that gold. When I was talking about the potential for the dollar index to move to the downside. So basically, if the dollar index moved to the upside, then gold should move to the downside. And I saw this morning, whether or not it will hold, which looks like a bit of a wedge formation. And we've got a 78.6% fib target level down here. So again, these are quite decent setups for risk reward. You got your stop above and your target down here. But you'd obviously have to see a reversal in that in the dollar index for that. But if stocks are starting to come off, then market might start buying the dollar as a safe haven.
Yeah, well, just throwing the FTSE chart up, that's the hourly chart. We're off 1% already today, and you can see over the last hour or so that it's really started to pick up a bit of pace on the downside. Some really large red candles are starting to form, and it doesn't really seem to be showing any signs of slowing down. So that will be as a result of sterling strength. We're seeing the FTSE 100 sell off. Seeing the CAC do a similar sort of thing. Obviously, Brexit talks are driving this, I would have said. And the DAX similar as well, approaching some key support down there at 12,597. So let's see if that continues today. Okay, so gun to the head stuff from yesterday. Steve continues his hot streak. That's now 7 correct calls in a row for you, Steve. You hit target on dollar index yesterday, a 2.23 R return. We both went on dollar index. I got a 2.79 R return on that. So not content with staying in Steve's shadow. I've tried to outdo him there yesterday, but he's on a 7-win streak. It's not the biggest streak that we've had previously. I thought I'd add that in. That actually goes to Ian. I think you had a 10.
Yeah,
It's impossible. You can't have 10. There's 9's the
Not more
maximum.
than 9.
rule of 9, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Ian did have a 10, but it didn't yield as much in terms of R
God,
as what
nowhere
Steve
near.
has done in his 7. So Steve, are you going to try and take the record for the biggest streak
Yeah, well,
in the next few days?
listen, I've just been messing about for a year, just giving you a head start.
Yeah,
And
just have a
obviously,
look at it looks overall. I mean, we've had a crazy run over the last few days or so. You can see here on the overall P&L, it's just a straight line in the last few sessions, and a lot of that is attributed to Steve turning up and finally deciding to play the game with us. So
yeah, shit old win
let's keep
rate
it
as
going.
well. Look at that 39.6% win rate. That's dreadful. I would have sacked myself by now. I'm glad you stuck with me, boys. Yes,
Coming
so
one of them. What you got?
I'm going to go Nasdaq.
Oh God.
But the only caveat I've got for it is that I do really, I mean, ideally I would sell into a rally. Can't afford to do this on a gun to head challenge. You just got to go with it. So I am going to go with it, but it obviously means that my stop has got to be a little bit further away. The stop is going to be right. Let's make sure I get the 765.75, 11,675. That's where I'm starting off. My stop will be at 11,805, just above the swing high. And my target, obviously, we were talking about levels down here. So let's go for that target. Whether it gets hit today or not, I haven't decided whether I'm going to push it through this level or not. But I do believe that if we if we do trade through this 11,575 or 11,000, well, actually on this chart it's 11,614. Break there and take out these two lows, then there's a good chance we should get a decent impulsive move to the downside. So my target will be, I'll round it up to 11,205. It's 3.62 to one shot. Again, I don't think it's intraday. It's more a few days.
Well, I think Nasdaq's the one to be on today, given that we are obviously in the midst of earnings season. Tesla after hours, so that won't necessarily affect it until after 9 o'clock when the trades are closed out. But there's a couple of biotech companies and other tech companies that are reporting today, which may help you out. And obviously, if this sell-off continues, then Nasdaq is unlikely to be unaffected by that. So good luck. I'm going to take a look at oil. It's one I've been talking about fair amount over the last couple of weeks or so, and it's just this massive level here at 41.72, which continues to attract selling interest. If we look at yesterday's candle, which is here, we had a little bit of a poke above the 41.72, but then the seller stepped in and brought it down. So I'm going to continue to play this range. This is the hourly chart. So you can see there was the poke above the 41.72. I'm going to sell it now at 41.17. Ideal world, you've got to stop loss above that high that we saw, but the R isn't particularly great if we do. So I'm going to go a bit more aggressive and go 41.70. Because there's a gun to my head and because I want to get some decent R out of it. If I was being sensible, then I'd be putting a stop definitely above that level there.
Who wants to be sensible?
Exactly. 39.46 is the target. These swing lows down here and where I've got some support. So 3.23R, if that plays out from here, selling crude oil. Over to you, Ian.
Good luck. I'm calling a medium-term base on dollar Swiss. I'm getting long at 90.36 with a stop at 90.20. And I'm targeting 1.0050 for 62.5 R. And I'm going to run that for a while yet.
All right. Well, you've got until 9 o'clock for the
Yeah, I know.
of this.
Yeah, so anyway, long at 36, stop at 20, 16 ticks stop. Let's see where we end up today.
Okay, well, let's see what happens with that. Okay, so there's your three trades for today. Steve selling Nasdaq, I'm selling oil, and Ian buying dollar Swiss. In terms of data today, we have got some Canadian data out at 1:30. It's the Canadian CPI number. Price is expected to rise to 0.3% year on year. After that, we've got crude inventories at 3:30, so that could help my trade today. Last week, we saw a significant rise to a 1 month low of minus 3.8 million barrels. Obviously, people continue to worry about the demand for oil amid the coronavirus pandemic. In terms of US earnings, we've got a few big names: Abbott Laboratories, Baker Hughes, Biogen, Verizon, Thermo Fisher Scientific, and Tesla after hours, to name just a few. Anything else, gents?
No, I think that's it.
Great. Well, let's wrap it up there then. Good luck with your trades, and we will be back tomorrow morning.
Lovely.
Brilliant.
Have a good one.
Cheers.
Enjoy.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.